Welcome back to Chase Circle, where every story takes you a little adventure. Today, I'm going to share with you a story that's full of surprise and maybe even a lesson or two. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this journey together.
Sit down, Anna. You're ruining Thanksgiving. That was my mother. Not panicked, not angry, just bored. My daughter was on the floor. Lily, 9 years old, curled by the dining table, one hand clamped over her wrist. Her eyes were wide, careful, like she was waiting for the adults to decide whether she was allowed to hurt. My grandfather stood over her, face tight with offense, not worry. "You don't touch my table," he said. Lily had only pulled her chair closer to me. Her knee brushed the edge of the table. A thick manila folder, one he kept pressed against his thigh all night, shifted a couple inches. That was it. His hand shot out. Hard. Fast. Like muscle memory. Lily went down. Not screaming. Just down. No one moved. My dad stared at his plate. My mom adjusted the napkins. My sister Jenna reached for her wine like this was an awkward toast. I dropped beside Lily. "Hey, look at me. Can you wiggle your fingers?" She nodded and tried. Her fingers moved, but her wrist shook. She didn't cry. She swallowed. "I'm okay," she whispered, rehearsed. "Sweetheart," I said, keeping my voice even. "It's okay to cry." Her voice barely came out. "If I cry, Grandpa gets mad." That sentence hit me harder than the shove. CTA has honed. If you've ever watched adults stay silent while a kid gets hurt, you know how loud that silence is. Hit like if you've ever felt that kind of rage and had to swallow it. I looked up. "You pushed her." My grandfather shrugged. "She got in my space." "She's 9. She needs to learn." Calm. Final. My dad cleared his throat. "Anna, don't start. Don't start." Like I was the one who'd used force. I lifted Lily carefully. Her body was warm and trembling. She pressed her face into my shoulder and breathed in short, controlled pulls. Her wrist was already swelling, the skin shiny and tight. My mom said, eyes on the mashed potatoes, "He didn't mean to hurt her. He's old school. He's protective about his things. Protective about his things." I carried Lily to the bathroom and ran cold water over her wrist. She clenched her teeth, silent, eyes flicking to the door like someone might come in and tell her she was making trouble. When I wrapped her wrist in a towel, she whispered, "Mom, are we in trouble?" "No," I said, too fast. "You're not." Back in the dining room, the table looked exactly the same. The turkey, the candles, the family photo my mother had positioned behind my grandfather like he was a saint. But something was off. The folder was cracked open now, just a sliver, and I saw my name at the top of a document inside. Not in a "this belongs to you" way, more like a file on someone you're trying to erase. I knew that folder. Family trust paperwork. The one my parents kept telling me was complicated. And, for later, the one they used whenever they wanted me to behave. My dad had once said, smiling, "Don't worry, Anna, we'll take care of you. This is for family." I could see the bold heading through the gap. Beneficiary review. Under it, a subheading that made my throat close. Paternity. I blinked hard, like it would rearrange the letters. Lily stood close to my leg. My mom leaned down to her and said, soft but sharp, "Go sit back down and be sweet. It's Thanksgiving." Lily looked at me for permission. I didn't give it. I took my coat from the hook. "We're leaving." Jenna's chair scraped back. "Anna, don't be dramatic." My dad finally looked up. "Anna, don't embarrass us." My grandfather said, "If you walk out, don't come back asking for help." My mom added, "Think about Lily's future." Like Lily's future depended on staying in a room where she wasn't safe. I kept my voice low. Her future depends on her being protected. My dad stood up fully, annoyed. "You always do this. You make scenes." I watched him for a second. I waited for him to ask Lily if she was okay. He didn't. I walked to the door anyway, Lily's hand in mine. "Behind me," my grandfather said, loud and casual. "Maybe she's not even yours to protect." My fingers froze on the zipper. I turned. What did you just say? He stared back. You heard me. My mother went pale. Jenna stopped mid-sip. My dad's jaw flexed. No one corrected him. Because it wasn't just cruelty. It sounded practiced. Lily stared at the floor. She didn't look surprised. That's when I understood the shove wasn't the real betrayal. The real betrayal was how prepared they all were to let my child doubt she belonged. In the car, Lily finally made a small sound more breath than sob. Mom, I didn't mean to touch it. I know, I said. You didn't do anything wrong. Her wrist was getting bigger. I drove straight to urgent care. Halfway there, I called my mom. I wanted anyone to act like a grandparent, to meet us, to apologize, to help. She picked up on the third ring. Anna, we're eating. Lily's wrist might be broken. I light. A pause. Then, take her tomorrow. It's probably just a sprain. I gripped the steering wheel until my fingers hurt. She's in pain right now. My mom sighed. Don't turn this into a whole thing. Your grandfather has blood pressure issues. If you upset him, you'll feel awful later. Guilt. Duty. The old leash. I hung up. At urgent care, the nurse asked how it happened. Lily glanced at me, then down. Fell, she said, automatic. I opened my mouth to correct her. Lily's eyes pleaded with me. Don't, so I said. She was pushed. The nurse's face changed. Professional, but sharper. She asked again, slower. By who? I answered, and I watched Lily's shoulders tighten like she expected a punishment. While we waited for the X-ray, my phone buzzed an unknown number. One line, check your daughter's school records. They changed something. I stared at the message until the screen dimmed. Because my family didn't just control holidays. They controlled paperwork. CTA #2. Before you click away, tell me this: would you have walked out of that house the moment your child hit the floor? I need to know I'm not alone. Part 1 end. And sitting under that fluorescent urgent care light, I realized someone else had access to Lily's life besides me, and I was about to find out exactly what they'd done. Part 2. The X-ray showed a small fracture, not catastrophic, but real. The doctor fitted Lily with a splint and said, gently, this should heal fine if she's kept safe. On the drive home, Lily stared at the streetlights. Are we going back? She asked. No, I said. Not tonight. After a long silence, she whispered, Grandpa said I don't belong. Is that true? My voice stayed steady. It's not true. You belong with me. At home, while I taped a trash bag over the splint for her bath, Lily said, like she was sharing a secret, Grandma asked me questions last week. What kind of questions? She shrugged with her good shoulder. If I ever feel scared at home, if you yell, if you forget to pick me up. My stomach tightened. Why didn't you tell me? Lily stared at the tile. Grandma said it was just to help. She said if I told you, you'd get upset and that would prove you're unstable. Unstable. The word again. A trap. I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch, replaying Thanksgiving, staring at the unknown text. Check your daughter's school records. At 7:12 a.m., I called the school office and asked for Lily's enrollment packet for insurance. The receptionist paused, then transferred me to the principal's assistant. Mrs. Carter, she said carefully, can you come in today? In the office, she slid a stapled packet across the desk. I flipped fast until I hit the emergency contact page. My name was listed first. Right under it, my sister, Jenna. And beside Jenna's name, a box checked. Authorized for pickup. Educational decisions. My stomach turned. Who added that? We received an update 2 months ago, the assistant said. From who? She showed me the form. My mother's handwriting. My mother's signature. Under relationship, she'd written, maternal grandmother, primary family contact. Primary. Attached to it was a typed letter on an attorney's letterhead I didn't recognize. One phrase was underlined, in the event of instability, the child may reside with her maternal aunt, the assistant added quietly. There was also a request for Lily to meet with the school counselor. It's scheduled next week. The request came from your primary contact. My fingers went cold on the paper. I didn't approve that. She nodded, uneasy. That's why we wanted to see you in person. Has Jenna picked Lily up? I asked. The assistant looked down. Once, last month. My throat went dry. Without me approving it? We tried your number, she said. Quick. It went to voicemail. We called the primary contact. She confirmed. Confirmed. On the way home, Jenna called. I answered on speaker, hands tight on the wheel. You picked Lily up from school, I said. Jenna sighed like I was exhausting. Mom asked me to. You didn't answer. I was at work. Exactly, Jenna said, almost cheerful. This is why we set up backup. You're a single mom. Things happen. Who's the lawyer? I asked. A beat. Then, Dad knows him. And the notarization? I pressed. Who did it? Jenna hesitated, then snapped. Why does that matter? Because something was off. My mother hadn't even left the house in months without telling everyone about it. Yet somehow she'd gotten a notarized affidavit. The bank, Jenna muttered finally. I know a teller. It's done. My skin crawled. It wasn't just family. It was a network. Are you trying to take my kid? I asked, keeping my voice low. Jenna's tone turned sweet. No one is taking her. We're just making sure she's in the right environment. The right environment. My parents' living room, where a grown man could shove her and nobody blinked. CTA #3. Be honest if your family filed paperwork about your child behind your back. Would you call it help, or would you call it control? Tell me in the comments. I hung up and tested my own phone. From my work line, I called my cell. It rang once, then went to voicemail. I opened my carrier settings. A forwarding rule had been added for daytime hours. Forward to my mother. My mouth went numb. They weren't just shaping the story. They were intercepting it. I drove to my parents' house and walked in with my spare key. My mom was folding blankets, calm as ever. Oh, honey, she said, smiling. How's Lily? I held up my phone. Why are my calls being forwarded to you? She didn't flinch. Anna, you're stressed. You're seeing problems everywhere. My dad appeared in the doorway, rubbing his temple. What's going on now? What lawyer wrote that letter? I asked him. His eyes flicked away for half a second. That was the first new secret. My dad knew, and he wasn't surprised. My mother stepped closer, voice gentle like she was talking to a child. We did it because we love her. You're overwhelmed. Lily needs stability. Stability? I held up Lily's fracture report. Is this stability? My mom's eyes slid off the paper. Your grandfather didn't mean. I cut her off. Stop defending him. My dad tried to sound reasonable. Let's not get legal. Let's handle this like family. And the second secret clicked into place. They had already gotten legal. They just didn't want me to. I left without yelling. I left because I could feel myself turning into the version of me they were most afraid of, the one who stops asking permission. That night, after Lily fell asleep, I logged into the trust portal my parents still kept shared. I searched my name and Jenna's. Transfers stared back at me. Small at first, then bigger. Always with harmless memos. Support, housing, education. All paid out to Jenna. All pulled from the trust that was supposed to be split between us. The latest transfer was 3 days ago. Memo. Lily Future. Part 2 end. I sat in the dark and whispered, they're stealing from my child. And for the first time in my life, I typed 2 words into Google without shaking. Family attorney. Part 3. I found Marcus through a coworker who'd survived a custody fight. She didn't hype him. She just said, call him. He listens. The next morning, I sat in Marcus's office with Lily's splint paperwork in my lap like a shield. Marcus was mid-40s, plain suit, tired eyes, no flashy promises. He asked one question first. Are you safe? I blinked. No one in my family had asked that. I think so, I said. But I don't think my daughter is, if they get access. Marcus nodded. 2 tracks, he said. Your child's safety and the money, because they're using one to control the other. He slid a legal pad toward me. We document. We don't argue. They'll say I'm overreacting, I said. They always do, he replied. That's why we don't give them reactions. We give them records. CTA #4. If you want to hear how this actually plays out when a family hides behind love, subscribe. I'm telling this because silence is how they win. Marcus asked for the urgent care report. I gave it. He asked for photos. I had them, time-stamped, because some part of me had learned to collect proof even when I was still trying to be nice. Then he asked, "Has your grandfather ever put hands on Lily before?" I started to say no. Then I remembered Lily's whisper. If I cry, Grandpa gets mad. That didn't come from one push. That night, I sat on Lily's bed while she colored with her left hand. I kept my voice casual. Has Grandpa ever hurt you before? Her crayon stopped. She didn't look up. Not hurt, she said fast. Okay, I said. Has he ever grabbed you? Squeezed you? Shoved you? A long pause. Then she whispered. He squeezes my shoulder when I talk too much. My chest tightened. When? At Grandma's, she said. When you're at work. New secret. My parents had been seeing Lily without me more than I knew. Lily's voice stayed small. Grandma said don't tell you because it would stress you out. She said I have to help you be calm. Help you be calm. They'd handed my 9-year-old a job. Manage my emotions so they could keep access. Marcus filed an emergency request with the school the next day. No one picks Lily up without my written approval. He came with me to the meeting. The principal didn't argue. The counselor didn't either. They both had the same look relief that an adult was finally drawing a line. My mother called the moment she got notified. You did what? She hissed. I protected my kid, I said. You're making her fear family, my mother snapped. You're poisoning her. Family. The word that turns harm into a tradition. My dad texted, let's talk. Don't do this. Marcus told me not to respond. Instead, we went after the trust. The portal my parents let me access was thin on details. Marcus said we'd subpoena later, but he also said, if you're named, you can request statements. Quietly. I called the trust administrator and asked for the annual statement as a beneficiary. My voice shook, but I did it. 2 days later, an envelope arrived. The statement wasn't vague. It listed distributions, dates, amounts, recipients. Pages of transfers to Jenna, transfers to accounts I didn't recognize, with my father listed as authorized manager. And then, in the notes section, one line that made my vision narrow. Beneficiary status pending verification. Pending verification. That was their play. If they could make me not family, they could make the theft not theft. Marcus read it and exhaled. This is where the paternity attack comes in, he said. They're going to claim you're not entitled. They can't, I said. I have a birth certificate. Facts matter, he said. But so does what they filed to delay you. That afternoon, my mother showed up at my apartment without warning. She smiled like she'd come to drop off soup. Then she slid a sealed envelope across my table. I don't want to do this, she said softly. But you're forcing us. I opened it. It was a private settlement. A one-time payout if I agreed to step back from the trust and stop creating conflict. At the bottom, in bold, was the real threat. If Anna Carter's beneficiary status is found invalid, future claims may be pursued for reimbursement. They weren't just trying to cut me out. They were trying to scare me into signing away my child's future and then paying them back for it. I looked at my mother. You think I'm not your daughter? Her mouth twitched. It's not about that. It's exactly about that, I said. She leaned in, whispering, We're doing this because we're family. You don't understand how things work. I slid the agreement back. No. My mother's eyes went cold for the first time. Then you leave us no choice. She walked out like she'd delivered a casserole. CTA #5. When you realize your own parents are willing to rewrite your identity to control your child, it changes you. If you've ever been there, hit like quietly so I know I'm not the only one. That night, Marcus emailed me the draft court filing. The last line said, Request for protective order on behalf of minor child. I printed it. I laid it on my kitchen table next to Lily's splint instructions, like my life had turned into a stack of documents. My phone lit up with a new email from the trust administrator. Per recent inquiry, please provide identification documents for verification. Recent inquiry, not mine. Another sigh detail. The timing was too perfect, like they were watching my steps and moving in real time. I texted Marcus a screenshot. He replied right away. Don't respond. We'll handle it in discovery. I stared at the papers until my eyes burned. I could hear Lily breathing in her room. I could hear my own heart, steady and angry. I picked up the pen. Part 3 end. And then right as I was about to sign, someone knocked on my door. 3 slow knocks, like they already belonged there. Part 4. I opened the door and found my dad standing there alone. He held a small box, a DNA test kit. My stomach dropped. Don't, I said. His voice was quiet, rehearsed. Your mom thinks it'll calm things down. By telling my daughter her mom might not be real? I kept the chain on the door. Dad's face tightened. It's about the trust. If you push this, it gets public. People will talk. Reputation. Always. He tried one last time. Just take it. If it comes back clean, Mom will back off. If it comes back clean, like my identity was a stain. Get off my doorstep, I said. He left the kid on my doormat and walked away. Within 48 hours, my family responded to Marcus's filing. Not with apologies, with paperwork. They called me emotionally unstable and alienating Lily. They attached old screenshots of me joking about being tired, being stressed. Being a single mom normal life turned into evidence, and they filed for paternity verification to challenge my beneficiary status. My mother didn't call me. She emailed Marcus with one sentence. We are willing to be generous if Anna stops. Generous. With my own child's future. The first court hearing was fast and ugly, the kind where a judge decides if a kid is in immediate danger. My family arrived dressed like a fundraiser. My mom in pearls, Jenna with a folder, my grandfather with a cane he never used at home. That was the sigh detail, the sudden frailty, right on cue. My grandfather's lawyer called Thanksgiving an accident. Said Lily lost balance. Said my grandfather steadied her. Marcus handed the judge Lily's medical report, photos, and the school forms my mother changed, naming herself primary, authorizing Jenna, scheduling a counselor meeting without telling me. The judge asked, did the mother consent to call forwarding? My mother's lawyer hesitated. Marcus presented the carrier record. The forwarding rule was added from my parents' IP address. Then the judge asked my grandfather one question. Did you push the child? My grandfather didn't deny it. He said, I corrected her. Children need discipline. Her mother spoils her. The judge granted the temporary protective order. No contact between Lily and my grandfather. No pickup by anyone besides me. The school to follow my directive. I walked out of that courtroom feeling like oxygen existed again. In the hallway, my mother grabbed my arm. Stop, she hissed. You're destroying the family. I pulled away. You destroyed it when you watched her hit the floor. Her eyes flashed. If you keep going, Lily is going to lose everything. She meant money, access, the story, not safety. That afternoon, the school counselor called me directly. Mrs. Carter, I need to tell you something. Your mother tried to pressure me to ask Lily specific questions. What questions? Whether she feels safe with you, the counselor said. Whether you yell. Whether you forget to pick her up, whether you leave her alone. I felt sick. Did you ask her? No, the counselor said, voice tight. It didn't feel appropriate without you. New secret. They were trying to build a paper trail against me, using my child as the witness. Marcus subpoenaed everything trust transactions, notarization records, emails with the school. The notarization for the school affidavit came back first. It wasn't random. It was done by a notary tied to the same attorney on the letterhead, the same family friend my dad knew. And the trust transactions were worse than I thought. They weren't messy. They were patterned, split into smaller amounts, timed around Jenna's rent and credit card due dates, signed off by my father every time. How long? I asked Marcus. He flipped to the first entry. 7 years. 7 years of my parents telling me, not yet. 7 years of Jenna getting support. After that, I stopped doing anything on autopilot. I changed the locks. I updated every password. I had the school put Lily's photo on a no-release sheet with my parents' names highlighted in red. I hated how normal the process sounded, like families did this every day. Marcus told me to start a journal. Dates, times, exact words. Courts love patterns, he said. So do manipulators. The sigh detail showed up again the next morning. I found a small plastic bag on my porch. No note. Inside, a brand new child's toothbrush and a travel-size toothpaste. It took me a second to understand. Someone was trying to get Lily's DNA without me. I called Marcus with my voice shaking. He went quiet, then said, "Bag it. Don't touch it. Photograph it. We'll add it." My phone rang right after my mother. I let it go to voicemail. She left a message that sounded like a lullaby. "Anna, sweetie, we just want to clear up confusion for Lily, so she doesn't have to live with questions. Questions they planted." I deleted the message, then pulled it back out of my deleted folder and saved it, because this was the new version of me. The version that keeps receipts. The night before the court date, Lily asked if we were going to lose our home. "No," I told her. "No matter what, we stay together." She nodded, but her eyes were too old. "Grandma said judges take kids away when moms are bad." I crouched in front of her. "Grandma doesn't get to define bad. You understand me?" Lily whispered. "Okay." I hugged her so tight she squeaked, and I forced myself to let go before she felt responsible for my fear. That night, Lily sat at the kitchen table doing homework with her splint propped on a pillow. She looked up and said, "Grandma called." My stomach clenched. "What did she say?" Lily swallowed. "She said if I miss them, I'm a good girl, and if I don't miss them, it means you made me bad." I stared at my daughter and felt something inside me harden into steel. CTA #6. What do you think my family did next after the judge cut Grandpa off? Drop your guess in the comments, because their next move was the one that made my blood run cold. Part 4. End. 2 days before our full court date, Marcus called me and said, "Anna, they just filed a new motion. They're requesting temporary custody based on uncertainty of your identity." Part 5. The morning of court, Lily asked, "Do I have to talk to the judge?" "No," I said. "That's my job." In the courthouse, my family sat together like a unit. My mother with pearls, Jenna with her folder, my dad staring at the floor. My grandfather wasn't there. His lawyer claimed medical limitations. Funny how consequences trigger weakness. Marcus leaned toward me. "They'll try to make this about your emotions," he said. "Keep it about their actions." They opened with the same story. Concerned grandparents, unstable single mom, a family trying to help. Then they put the real knife on the table. They asked the judge to consider uncertainty of Anna Carter's parentage, implying I might not be entitled to the trust, implying my instability could affect Lily. Marcus stood, calm, prepared. He showed the trust documents listing me from the beginning, the administrator's note that pending verification only appeared after my mother's inquiry, and the full transaction history, years of distributions routed to Jenna, signed by my father, while my portion was withheld. He showed the school evidence, my mother naming herself primary, authorizing Jenna for educational decisions, scheduling counseling without me, and the carrier record proving call forwarding was set from my parents' IP address. Then he addressed custody. He presented Lily's medical record and photos. He submitted the nurse's statement about Lily freezing when asked by who. He played my mother's voicemail after the toothbrush bag appeared. "We just want to clear up confusion. For Lily." Marcus didn't raise his voice. "Collecting a child's DNA without consent," he said. "Intercepting the mother's calls. Altering school authority. Pressuring staff to question the child. This is coercion." Marcus also submitted the email chain between my mother and the school. My mother pushing for a concern meeting. My mother asking whether Lily had ever mentioned anger at home. My mother insisting it be documented for her file. Reading it made my skin prickle. It wasn't a grandma worrying. It was someone building a case. Then Marcus handed the judge the trust administrator's response to our subpoena. A note confirming that my mother had called after I requested statements and asked how to pause my access until verification could be done. The administrator wrote bluntly that they could not legally do that without court direction. That was the new secret in Part 5. My mother didn't just question my identity at the dinner table, she tried to shut me out of the trust in real time. My mother's lawyer tried to laugh it off. Families ask questions. They're just trying to be responsible. The judge didn't laugh. She asked my mother directly, "Did you request school authority changes without the mother's consent?" My mother answered like she was explaining herself to a neighbor. "We were helping. Anna gets overwhelmed. Lily needs consistency." The judge looked at the medical report again and said, "And the injury?" My mother's jaw tightened. "It was an accident." The judge turned to my father. "And the call forwarding?" My dad finally spoke. "We thought it was best. For communication. For communication. For control." The judge let the silence hang long enough that I could hear the air conditioner kick on. The judge denied their temporary custody request. Completely. She ordered no direct contact with Lily and no school authority for anyone but me. CTA-7. When family becomes the excuse for hurting a child, do you think cutting them off is selfish or responsible? Tell me in the comments, because this question changes how you see everyone. Then the judge turned to the paternity attack. She said speculative claims about my identity were not relevant to Lily's safety and did not justify interference. She warned counsel against using it as leverage. Then she turned to the trust. She found that my parents abused their role in managing assets, obstructed my beneficiary rights, and funneled funds improperly. She ordered full restitution of my share, plus penalties and legal fees. My mother whispered, shaking, "We did it for the family." The judge looked at her. "You did it for control." I didn't cry in the courtroom. I couldn't. I just held my posture like it was the last thing that belonged to me. Outside, my dad tried to step in front of me. "Anna, we can fix this." I kept walking. "You had years," I said. Jenna called, loud enough for people to look. "You're really doing this over money?" I turned once. It was never about money. It was about Lily being safe. That night, Lily leaned into me on our couch, splint between us. "Are we safe now?" she asked. "We're safer," I said, "and we're staying that way." "Will Grandma be mad?" "Yes," I said, "but Grandma's feelings are not your job." Lily let out a breath like she'd been holding it for years. "Okay." When the restitution hit my account, I didn't celebrate. I opened a college savings plan for Lily in my name only. I paid down debt. I started therapy for her with someone who understands kids trained to keep adults comfortable. And I did the last thing my family always called too extreme. I cut contact. Not as revenge, as protection. My mother sent long emails about forgiveness. My dad sent short texts about regret. Jenna stayed silent until she needed something, then sent one line, "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. On a quiet Saturday, Lily and I ate pancakes in pajamas. Syrup dripped on her shirt, and she laughed. She didn't flinch at hallway noise. She didn't ask if she was in trouble. She just existed. And I realized the ending I wanted was never them apologizing. It was my daughter growing up without questioning if she deserved to be protected. This wasn't a story about money. It was a story about boundaries, and how silence feeds violence, and the moment a mother stops being told to endure for the sake of family. Because family doesn't get to hurt a child and then demand gratitude. Not from me, and never again from my daughter.